Hey, what's up guys? Hope you guys are having a good day today. Let's talk about knife sharpness. How do you test for knife sharpness? Now, I see this question a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and give my 2 cents on it. And here's the three main things that I use for testing knife sharpness. So you've got plain printer paper, phone book paper, and hair right here. I use regular printer paper, whenever you get a knife, maybe a used knife, you don't know how sharp it is, or if you got a knife that's really dull and you're wondering if you need to sharpen it yet. Well, printer papers, you don't really need a sharp knife to cut printer paper. I mean, any factory edge should be able to cut printer paper at the minimum. If you can't cut printer paper at all, it needs to be resharpened for sure. Or you could strop it first, and that should bring back the edge if it's just rolled over. But if you strop it and still won't cut printer paper, then you will have to resharpen it, reprofile it, the whole 9 yards. But next up is, for me, phone book paper. Phone book paper, most factory knives I've gotten were able to slice phone book paper. Now, slicing and push cutting are two different things. A real toothy edge will slice phone book paper, but you need a polished edge to push cut phone book paper. Now, phone book paper is my main go-to. If I can push cut or slice phone book paper, I mean, it's good to go. I'm not going to worry about the edge. I may strop it just to keep it as sharp as possible, but I got a brand new strider here from the factory. It won't push cut phone book paper, but if you do a slicing motion, it will slice. But the second you try to go into a push cut with it, it'll tear it. Whereas if you have a mirror polished edge that's to the extreme sharpness, as sharp as you can go on the wicked edge, it'll push cut and it'll slice. Either way. And then you can do all kinds of nice shapes in the phone book paper. Now, I don't require my knives to be hair whittling sharp. I mean, I carry this one right now and it won't push cut, but it'll still slice, which is good enough for most people's usage. The next level up after phone book paper for me is hair. I just take a hair off my head and see if I can cut the hair, just the weight of the hair on the blade, see if you can cut it. Now, there's two ways to test the sharpness of your knife using a hair. You've got cutting towards the root and you've got cutting away from the root. Now, if you've seen a microscopic picture of a hair, you know what I'm talking about. It's going to be easier to cut the hair towards the root than going towards the tip. I'll demonstrate here. This knife right here is what represents the ultimate in sharpness. This is actually beyond hair whittling sharp. Do not have anything to test anything past this yet, but I'm going to cut towards the root on here, and you'll know when your knife is sharp. If you're on a sharpening system like the wicked edge, the minimum you can get is hair whittling sharp. It does take some practice, but you should be able to cut a hair no problem going towards the root. Now, that's the first level. Now, the next level is cutting towards the tip. Now, there were times where I could only get a knife sharp enough to cut towards the root but not towards the tip. But after you get some practice, you'll be able to cut towards the tip. Now, I'll roll in a picture in case you don't know why it's harder to cut towards the tip. Now, if you can whittle hair, that's that's as far as I go. That's the only methods I have for testing that. Now, people have said that, you know, past hair whittling sharp is tissue paper cutting sharp or toilet paper cutting sharp. Now, you don't need a mirror polished razor sharp edge to cut toilet paper or tissue paper. You just need a really toothy edge. I mean, it could be you could take a factory Kershaw cryo edge and strop it on the wicked edge, and you'd have an edge that would cut, you know, toilet paper, tissue paper, no problem. Now, this is ultimate in sharpness right here. It doesn't get any sharper than that, but you're still not gonna go through this paper towel that easily. You have to use a slicing motion. Now, I've never seen a knife sharp enough to push cut tissue paper. We got some toilet paper here, really flimsy stuff. Not sure what brand it is, but yeah, it ain't even gonna slice at all. Now, if you've got the hard stuff, probably will. Definitely ain't gonna push cut at all. So that is not a reliable method of testing sharpness, because, you know, if it whittles hair in both directions with no problem, yeah, it's not a reliable way of testing. So just stick to printer paper, phone book paper, and whittling hair. Now, if you have any other better ideas to test the sharpness past hair whittling, please let me know. I'll be glad to try it out. Now, this was sharpened on the wicked edge with the new kangaroo leather strops, and it came out real nice. So after a good 2 hours on the wicked edge, this is the kind of edge that you can get. There's not many scratches in it, although it's focusing more on sharpness than mirror polishing it. Mirror polishing just comes as a side effect, but it looks real nice, very sharp. Now, another thing I've been doing recently is taking phone book paper and holding it like that and pushing it along the edge and seeing how easily it push cuts into it. That'll give me a good idea of how sharp the knife is. And also, if you can go like that, because if you take let's see, this is a factory sharp paramilitary 2 M390, and you can't push into it without the paper bowing. Won't do it. Oh, won't do it at all. So that means it won't push cut foam paper, but it will slice it. I mean, it's not dull by any means, but if you try to push it into there, it won't do it. Now, you know you have an extremely sharp knife when it pushes into it with no effort at all. The paper doesn't bow, doesn't catch. Alright, so if you're the owner of this S30V Manix 2, you need to be really careful with this thing when you get it, because it is ridiculous sharp. Ridiculous. Slices like a laser, like a wicked laser. Alright guys, that was just my 2 cents. I appreciate you watching the vids. Stay tuned for more, and I will catch you later. Yeah, the wicked edge takes slicing like a laser to a whole new meaning. Because it actually cuts better than a laser, in my opinion. What do you think? See? all that work, that's all you get. And you could have just did that.